Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Aman channel. Today we'll be learning how to tell time in Arabic language. So we are going to divide this lesson into different parts. So starting from the first part is to learn how to say the Arabic numbers from 1 to 60. So it is very important that you know how to say the Arabic numbers from 1 to 60 because you are dealing with time, and time we are talking about numbers, so you have to uh, learn the numbers first. So to make it very easy, let's go. So from 1 to 9, 1 is واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة, ستة, سبعة, ثمانية, تسعة, عشرة. That's 1 to 10. So, and you should know that these numbers, we have the feminine and we have the masculine. So for the feminine, for 1 is wahida, while the masculine is wahid. Ithnan, ithnatan, the feminine. Thalath, thalatha, the feminine. Arba, the feminine. Arba. So that's what you do to every other number. So the feminine end with tamarbut. So this is wahid to ashara, 1 to 10. Now the next thing we have to learn is 10 to 60 in tens. So 10 is ashara, 20 is ashrun, 30 is thalathun, 40 is arba'un, 50 is khamsun, 60 is sittun. So this is 1 to 10 and 10 to 60 in 10. Now the next step is, if you want to say 11 to 19, it's very easy. You already know the 1 to 9 already, so it's just for you to add ashara to it. So just mention the number, you add ashara to it. So for example, now if you want to say 1, now 1, in the case of 1, is going to change. It's not going to be wahid ashara or wahida to ashara. No, it's going to be ahad ashara. Ahad ashara, that is 11. Ahad also means 1, so you just add ashara to it, it means 11. Ahad ashara, ithna ashara, thalathatu ashara, arba ashara, khamsa ashara, sittu ashara, sab'a ashara, thamaniya ashara, tis'a ashara. So this is how you read it. You just take the number that you have already learned, then add ashara to it to complete from 11 to 19. We already know that 20 is ashrun. Now 21 to 29. So bring the number also. Then you say, you bring wa means and. Then you will say ashrun. So you have to bring the number first. That is 1. If you want to say 21, you bring 1 first, then you bring wa, which means and, then you bring ashrun, which means 20. So for example, you say wahid wa ashrun. So in case of time, you don't have wahid, it's going to be wahida wa ashrun. So wahid wa ashrun, ithnan wa ashrun, thalas wa ashrun, arba wa ashrun, khams wa ashrun, till the end, 29. The same thing from 31 to 39. Just bring the number, then you bring thalathun, since 30 is thalathun, wa thalathun, wahid wa thalathun, ithnan wa thalathun, arba wa thalathun. The same thing 40 to 49. That's also very, with this simple chart, you can read 1 to 60 very easily. So all we need is 1 to 60. So let's go into terminologies. We have terminologies in Arabic time. Before you say times, we have the terms that we use for time in Arabic language. So the first term here is sa'a. Sa'a. Sa'a has a lot of meaning. One of the meaning of sa'a is time, that is wristwatch. You can use it for wristwatch, and you also use sa'a for your work clock. So but the most important thing here is sa'a also means hour. So 60 minutes make 1 hour. So 1 hour is called sa'a. Sa'a. That is 1 hour. Then we have nisfu sa'a. Nisfu sa'a, that is half an hour, which has to be 30 minutes. Then we have thuluth sa'a. If you have to divide the time into three, that is, if you have to divide an hour into three, is called thuluth sa'a. So if you have to divide 60 minutes into three, is going to give us 20 minutes. So 20 minutes is called thuluth sa'a. Then we have rubu' sa'a. That's if you divide 60 minutes into 4, which is going to give us 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, if you are saying time, 15 minutes is called rubu' sa'a. Rubu' sa'a, you say rubu'. Now, a minute is called daqiqah. Daqiqah is called a minute, and the plural of daqiqah is daqa'iq. Daqa'iq, minutes. Then we have thaniya. Thaniya is second. Thaniya, second. So the next thing we want to learn now is how to use these two words, wa and illa, and when to use them. It's also very important while telling time. So how to use wa and illa. Wa is harf atf, just as we know it in Arabic, and it means and. So you use wa if the time you want to tell is not in a particular hour. For example, if it is 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock dot, you don't use anything, you just say as-sa'atul wahida. So if someone asks you, kam as-sa'a al-an, what's the time? You say as-sa'atul wahida. As-sa'a al-wahida, 1 o'clock. As-sa'atu thaniya, 2 o'clock. As-sa'atu thalitha, 3 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-rabi'a, 4 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-khamisa, 5 o'clock. As-sa'atu as-sadisa, 6 o'clock. As-sa'atu as-sabi'a, 7 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-thamina, 8 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-tasi'a, 9 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-ashira, 10 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-hadiya ashara, 11 o'clock. As-sa'atu al-thaniya ashara, 12 o'clock. If it's o'clock, so this is how you say it. Very simple. You don't have any problem. We've talked about nisfu sa'a, which is 30 minutes. We've talked about rubu' sa'a, which is 15 minutes. We've talked about thuluth sa'a, which is 20 minutes. So if the time is 1:30, for example, how do you say it? You will say as-sa'atu al-wahida. What do we call 30? Nisfu. You will say wa nisfu. As-sa'atu al-wahida wa nisfu. So 1:30. As-sa'atu al-wahida 1 wa nisf and half, that is and 30 minutes. So 1:30. Do you understand that? Why do we use wa? Because we are adding to it. As-sa'atu al-wahida wa nisf. Do you understand? Because we are adding 30 minutes to it. If it is 1:15, we will say as-sa'atu al-wahida wa rubu'. As-sa'atu al-wahida wa rubu'. Because 15 is when you divide 60 minutes into 4, which is rubu', 1/4. So it's going to give you 1:15. So as-sa'atu al-wahida wa rubu', that is 1:15. 1:20, you say as-sa'atu al-wahida wa thuluth. As-sa'atu al-wahida wa thuluth. The same thing. 2:30. As-sa'atu thaniya wa nisfu, 2:30. As-sa'atu al-thaniya wa thuluth, 2:20. As-sa'atu al-thaniya wa rubu', 2:15. So this is how you say it. You just say wa. Now, what about if you want to talk about 1:40? 1:40. So if you want to talk about 1:40, if the time is in a particular hour, maybe 1 o'clock, that's the hour of the time, and it has already passed half of its way to the other time. So when it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, but the minute is above 30 minutes, it's above 30 minutes, you are not going to mention the particular time that you are not going to mention the particular hour. You are going to mention the next hour. So the time is 1:40 now. After 1, the next hour is 2, right? So since it is 1:40 and if you check 40 is above half of its way to 2. So you are not going to mention 1 again. The hour you are going to mention now is 2. Then you are not going to use wa. You are going to use illa. For example, if you want to say the time is 1:40, you will say as-sa'atu ath-thaniya illa. So 1:40, it remains how many minutes to complete 2 o'clock? It remains 20 minutes, and 20 minutes is 1/3 of an hour, that is thuluth. I say as-sa'atu ath-thaniya illa thuluth. As-sa'atu ath-thaniya illa thuluth. So the time is 2 o'clock except for thuluth, except for 20 minutes to complete, that is 1:40, the way you will say it in English. So if you want to say the time is 2:45, also you say as-sa'atu. You are not to mention 2, you are going to mention 3 because it's the next time, so it's almost on its way to 3. So you are going to mention 3 o'clock, the hour 3, which is the next hour. As-sa'atu thalitha illa rubu'. As-sa'atu ath-thalitha illa rubu'. The time is 3 except for what? For 15 minutes, which means 2:45. So that's how we say it in Arabic language. Very simple as this. We've already know where to use wa and when to use illa. So you are using wa if the time is in a particular hour and the minute is between 30 minutes, 1 and 30 minutes, 1 minute to 30 minutes. But when it's above 30 minutes and crossing its way to the next hour, you are going to use illa, and in that case you are not going to mention the particular hour, you are going to mention the next hour. So since you already know how to use wa and illa, the next question that might come to our mind is, what about if the minute is not 30 minutes, is not 15 minutes, is not 20 minutes? How do we say it? For example, if you want to say 1:10, like 10 minutes after 1, you will say as-sa'atu al-wahida wa 10 daqa'iq. Wa 10 daqa'iq. The time is 1 and 10 minutes. Wa 10 daqa'iq and 10 minutes. Do you understand? The same thing if it is 1:50 and it just remains 10 minutes to make it 2. You will say as-sa'atu ath-thaniya. You are not going to mention the 1. As-sa'atu ath-thaniya because 2 is the next hour that we are going to. So you say ath-thaniya, then it remains how many minutes to complete 2? It remains 10. You say illa 10 daqa'iq. Illa 10 daqa'iq, except for how many minutes? 10 minutes. So if you want to say 5 minutes after 3, 5 minutes after 3, that is 3:05. How do you say that? The first question is, what is 3? 3 is thalasa, right? But if you want to say the time is 3 o'clock, how do you say? You say as-sa'atu ath-thalitha. You understand? You have gotten the first step. As-sa'atu ath-thalitha. Then you say wa. You understand? Then how many minutes? 8, 5, and 5 is khams. And I told you that daqiqa is a minute. The plural of daqiqa is daqa'iq. As-sa'atu al-thalitha wa khams daqa'iq. Wa khams daqa'iq. The time is 3:05. That is 5 minutes after 3. So this is how you say time in a very easy way in Arabic language. So let's take some test. So how do you say the time is 2:16? The time is 2:16. So let's hear from you. The next question you ask yourself is the hour is 2, right? And when it is 2, what are you going to say? As-sa'atu athaniya. You have gotten the first thing, you have to say as-sa'atu athaniya. And what? What is 16? In our terminology, in our division, dividing the time into different, dividing an hour, which of this division is closer to 16? It's 15 minutes, and 15 minutes is called rubu' or rubu'. So you say as-sa'atu athaniya wa rubu'. Then you can now mention wa daqiqa. As-sa'atu athaniya wa rubu' wa daqiqa. That's 16 minutes. And you have another way to say that. You can say as-sa'atu athaniya. What do we call 16 normally in Arabic language? 16 is 16. So الساعة الثانية و16 دقيقة و16 دقيقة. You understand that? And 16 minutes. It's as simple as that. So you have two ways. Either you mention the number, and generally if you want to do away with either rubu', thulus and nisfu, if it's giving you problem, you can just mention the hour and just mention the minute. For example, if you want to say 1:30, you can say as-sa'atu al-wahida wa nisfu. Very simple as that. You can also say as-sa'atu al-wahida wa thalathuna daqiqa. As-sa'atu al-wahida wa thalathuna daqiqa. That is 1 and 30 minutes. You understand? You can also use that part. So whichever either way you use, you are correct. But the best part is whenever you are using these numbers, you mention the division of time. Thulus, rubu is the best and is the most eloquent way. And not if you don't want to be using thulus and rubu, if you had to mention the hour and you mention the minute by itself, then you don't have issue with either illa or wa. We don't have issue with either looking at if the minute is above halfway to the next hour. No. For example, if you want to say the time is 2:50, if you want to use the second pattern, which is to mention the time, the hour, then to mention the minute, the way we have it in Arabic numbers. So if you want to say 2:50, you say as-sa'atu athaniya. What is 50 in Arabic language? Khamsun wa khamsuna daqiqa. As-sa'atu athaniya wa khamsuna daqiqa. That is 2:50. So this is another way. You want to say 2:55. As-sa'atu athaniya wa khamsa wa khamsuna daqiqa. So you can say that too. There's no problem. But the most eloquent way is the first way, which if you want to say 2:55, you will say as-sa'atu ath-thalitha. You are going to mention the next hour, which is 3. Then how many minutes it remains to complete 3? It remains 5 minutes. Then you say illa khams daqa'iq. So as-sa'atu ath-thalitha illa khams daqa'iq. It means 2:55. Lest I forget, when you're talking about 1 minute and 2 minutes, you are not going to mention the number. So you are not going to mention 1 and you are not going to mention 2. So all you will do is to say daqiqa. So if you just say daqiqa, it means a minute. If, for example, the time is 1 minute after 2, that is 2:01, you will say as-sa'atu ath-thaniya wa daqiqa. As-sa'atu ath-thaniya wa daqiqa. So you just say daqiqa, which means a minute. So you are not to mention the number. You are not meant to say wa wahid daqiqa. No. And if it is 2 minutes after 2, you say as-sa'atu ath-thaniya wa daqiqatan. Wa daqiqatan. The same thing if it to 59, you say as-sa'atu al-thalitha illa daqiqa. As-sa'atu al-thalitha illa daqiqa. So this is the easiest way to learn how to say time in Arabic language. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe, share and comment if you have questions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.